Hey friends, trace amounts of science. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Rooster Teeth. Yes, they were acquired by Crunchyroll, which is owned by Warner Brothers, and recently Warner Brothers decided to give them the old axe. That's right, Rooster Teeth is no more. Now I fully recognize that this is not something that I'd normally talk about on the channel, but I really do think it affects all of us as creators, and here's why. They are the creators of Red vs. Blue, one of the progenitors of machinima and therefore monetization on YouTube, which has allowed me to live the life that I so desperately wanted to live for so very long. Indeed, we owe Rooster Teeth a great debt. To be completely frank with you, I've never been all that into their content. It feels definitely like a relic out of the 2010s, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that they definitely deserved their place in internet history. Surely the fans will mourn the loss of Rooster Teeth, but hey, the shareholders will celebrate, so isn't that something to hold on to? The truth is, Rooster Teeth was just not profitable, and Warner Brothers had made attempts to sell it. I'm not sure at what price, but nobody took the deal. So I guess the best thing to do is throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Say forget about it. Rooster Teeth has had a series of wonderful IPs, not just Red vs. Blue, but there was also Ruby and Genlock. In a company memo, Rooster Teeth General Manager Jordan Levin said the following: "It's with a heavy heart that I announce that Rooster Teeth is shutting down due to challenges facing digital media resulting from fundamental shifts in consumer behavior and monetization across platforms, advertising, and patronage. Our legacy is not just a collection of content, but a history of pixels burned into our screens, minds, and hearts." Burned into our minds and hearts, indeed it is. They've spawned some great memes, honestly. As far as the fundamental shifts in consumer behavior and monetization, I think that's an interesting statement. It seems to me that monetization on the internet is basically easier than ever. Rooster Teeth are the one that carved out the niche for monetization. And now that it's so widespread, I guess they just didn't get as big a piece of pie as they needed to keep going. And I do find that sad. 150 full-time employees and dozens of contractors and content creators are now out of work. And I do think that, of course, that's an inherently sad thing. Of course, that doesn't mean that everything's going out the window. Warner Brothers is still holding on to the content catalog that has already been created. If you'd like to buy the rights from Warner Brothers, hey, shoot them an email. Should only cost a few million. Warner Brothers is also seeking to sell the Roost podcast network, which I guess is part of Rooster Teeth that they decided not to dissolve completely. But I mean, if they can't come up with a decent sale price that makes people want to buy, yeah, we could see the Roost podcast network going away as well. That's just speculation, however. So yes, Rooster Teeth dead at the young age of 21. They celebrated their 20th birthday just last year. They relaunched with new logos and a tagline of just playing. Well, seems like they played around a little too much, I guess. The fan base that they had was ardent. They came out at just the right time at around 2003, and I would have been 15 or 16 at the time, which makes this, yes, the perfect alignment of the stars. Unfortunately, I wasn't really a Halo kid. So aside from the silly voices and dirty jokes, I didn't have much interest in it. But you know what got shared around. You know I watched a couple of episodes. And again, I really am sad to see it go, to know that there won't be any new content had I ever decided to get into it. But that's just sort of what happens when you pass around your own media company for a few extra bucks, you know? Would I ever sell ReddX Industries? I don't know. If the price is right. I mean, really right. 6 figures kind of right. Because essentially what you are selling is your legacy, your baby, the thing that you've created from the ground up and helped build into this big, beautiful thing. Not to romanticize it too much, but it's true that nobody is going to care for a channel, network, whatever, as much as the person who originally created it. I guess its demise can't come as too much of a surprise, because Rooster Teeth has been passed around in exchange for Dosh for a very long time. In 2014, Rooster Teeth was bought by Fullscreen, and then Fullscreen got bought up by Otter Media, which was a joint venture of AT&T, The company would then go on to become a part of Warner Media under AT&T's ownership. And finally, in 2022, Discovery closed the acquisition Warner Media in order to form Warner Bros. Discovery. And it's interesting that only 2 short years ago they decided to bring Rooster Teeth along. Maybe they brought absolutely everyone along. But it seems like in 2 short years, Rooster Teeth had become a liability, and it is sad to see. Of course, Rooster Teeth used to enjoy much more success. They had a subscription video-on-demand service. In about 2016, it was rebranded as First. And at the height, they had about 225,000 paying members. That is an insane amount of dosh to be rolling in every single month. But that number has since fallen off to about 60,000 subscribers, which I guess just isn't enough to keep the lights on. Warner Bros. Discovery will be communicating with subscribers of First within the next few weeks about the service's official shutdown. And I don't know too much about Warner Bros. Discovery as a company, but if the communication by Time Warner is a reflection of it, then that email is definitely never coming. It seems like Time Warner Cable was rebranded as Spectrum Internet in 2016. Well, that just makes me want to buy it more, because I'm definitely on the Spectrum. So during these days of Rooster Teeth's big success, their staff ballooned up to over 400. Once profits started to take a dip, they started to get rid of, more and more staff members in order to make things profitable, but obviously that wasn't able to happen. Now, I'm kinda of 2 minds about the whole situation. I can certainly see the benefit of expanding the team and making bigger and better content, but at that point things do become a bit more of a liability. And then on top of that, you have to have somebody to manage this entire team of people, either a manager that you have to pay or you have to do it all yourself, and that's quite an undertaking. People usually get into this line of work because it's a passion, something they truly enjoy doing. And I don't think running around being a production manager for 8 different series and videos is what most people dreamed of when they started up a YouTube channel for the very first time. So part of me says, I understand the selling it off and whatnot, but the other part of me says it would still be alive if you hadn't sold it off. Then again, the creators, Bernie Burns and Matt Hullum, are probably going to sleep on a big bed of money anyways. I don't know if they care all that much about their legacy and things like that. And technically it does live on in some form or fashion, so I guess I can't be too upset. It wasn't too long ago also that Rooster Teeth came under some controversy as a former staff member detailed her experiences of being harassed, underpaid, and marginalized. How bad was the harassment? Well, I'll link the whole thing in a twit longer, but there is a TLDR at the end, so I'm just going to read that. February 2013 to November 2013, unpaid contract work. Oof. Fugs equal Gaylord. Reported to HR, nothing was done. He didn't say Gaylord, he said the F slur. 2013 Christmas bonus, $100. Longtime members disapproved of said bonus. Yeah, we should ask the corporate executives what their bonus was. That'll get some people really upset. Essentially, you go from sharecropping on YouTube to just sharecropping for Warner Brothers. That seems sort of insane to me. There were 14-hour workdays, rush orders for same or next day videos. Damn, shouts out to Elijah. He knows how it is. Although he's not working a 14-hour workday, I promise. Anytime I brought up mistreatment or that just making fun of people in content only encourages the community to hate us, I was waved away saying, it's just a joke. Ignore the comments. I mean, don't ignore the comments, but, take them and see if they're valid or not, at least. Personally, I love making fun of people. I'll always go for, it's just a joke, get over it. But sometimes it does have real-world repercussions if you piss off enough people. Rooster Teeth crunch caused pneumonia. No recovery period on my return. Crunched harder. Physically isolated. People even in the company forgot that I worked there. Rooster Teeth never fulfilled their promotion deals. 15-hour workdays. 2016, this user comes out as trans and transphobia harassment began. Acting manager lied to the community and harassed me. HR did nothing and enabled harassment. Founding fathers knew and did nothing. Said, too nice to work at Rooster Teeth and just quit and find work somewhere else. Oh no, you ain't getting rid of me that easy. I'm getting some severance pay. I'm going on unemployment for a minute. But I don't know. That criticism also holds a little bit of water for me. Too nice? Yeah, maybe. You knew what the content was before you signed up. Were the jokes just okay before you started working there? And I understand content is content and we should all be consummate corporate professionals behind the scene, but yeah, a lot of times that's just not how it happens. In order to make this edgier sort of content, you have to keep an edgier circle. The 15-hour workdays, driving you into the ground, giving you a bonus of $100, all that is egregious. But again, I can't consider the corporate culture much of a surprise, considering the content that's made there. Rooster Teeth did not properly support medical insurance coverage. End 2020 position, producer/director, paid $40,000. Next lowest paid person was $70,000. Damn, dude, that is a slap in the mouth. Why wouldn't you quit and go somewhere else at that point? It's pretty obvious they're going to make sure that you don't move up. So maybe it's time to go find greener pastures, for real. Are you just sticking around to, show them? Prove to yourself that you can endure? Trust me, you are only making problems for yourself. They can endure just fine. They're making six figures. I don't know, dude. That is egregious. Couldn't be me. 2019, forced to move to LA or get laid off. Rooster Teeth never paid moving costs. COVID forced remote jobs, thus saving my job. Hooray. This terrible job that leaves you with unpaid contract work and a $100 bonus. You should have quit back in 2013. How have we stuck this out for 6 years? Is Rooster Teeth being a bunch of dicks? Yeah, probably a little bit. But you're really being an idiot by sitting there and just continuing to take it. Rooster Teeth increased their crunch during COVID. Hell yeah, them's was good money-making days, let me tell you. 2021 anniversary stream event. Had life-saving surgery. Majority work stolen by coworker and blamed production failures on me during medical leave. Damn, that's all sorts of shiesty, isn't it? Did that coworker just not like you specifically, or would he have done that to anyone? Because something tells me he probably would have done that to anyone. He's just trying to climb that corporate ladder, Do people know it's a lie? Was it ever addressed? I got a lot of questions, but no answers. BRG created to help with representation issues. Mid-2021, Rooster Teeth said, "We've done enough for the queer community. Pride stream events, still mostly cis-het talents." It seems like a divisive thing to even bring up, if I'm honest. Representation issues? Sure, maybe okay, I'll allow it, but we have to do a Pride stream event? First and foremost, we're a company, And like it or not, you are actively driving away some consumers. Probably many more consumers than are actually being gained from a Pride stream, considering the content that you make. Again, maybe it's a spicy take, but you know what? I don't care no more. I'm gonna calls it how I sees it. There was also mistreatment of minorities in Rooster Teeth, which they ignored. The company's just going through a lot right now. Just leave it alone. Unpaid for voiceover work during tenure at Rooster Teeth. May Marigold and Ruby Fairy Tales included. Handful of good people, bad company. I'll agree. Terrible company. Sounds like an absolute circus. I don't understand how things like racial incidents are just glossed over. But indeed, when you look at it through this frame of reference, the company was destined to fail. This poster is probably celebrating the loss of Rooster Teeth. Is it karmic justice? I don't know. Quite possibly. But I know a lot of people were able to get the bag and made it out unscathed, so maybe it has served its purpose. Maybe it's not the sort of thing that's meant to go on forever, especially when it so adamantly refuses to change with the times. And I think that really is what led to the downfall. That's why it still feels like a relic from 2010. Whether or not it was in the creator's hands this entire time, I do think that it would have fallen apart at some point. The content, like it or not, has gone massively downhill, especially within the last decade of their existence. And they've also been riddled with all this scandal and drama, and yeah, maybe it's good to say good riddance. Even setting aside the drama and everything, they chase trends, Going for those TikTok kids and a bit of clickbait, and yeah, they really just weren't good enough at either of them. And all they ended up managing to do was alienating older fans. Fortunately, the podcast network, I mean, a podcast is fairly low budget. Anybody could do it. Hey, I got some of my own. You should go check them out. At this point, all I can really do is hope that people were notified of this far in advance. Perhaps they got a severance pack. I like to imagine the best, but I'm not sure that's what happened. They said, emergency staff meeting, we're all getting fired. That's usually how these things come down. They don't want to give you the chance to take revenge against the company, you see. So yeah, I'm not too sad about the loss of Rooster Teeth. They were a pioneer in their industry, but they've long since served their purpose. And yeah, obviously it didn't mean all that much if it was sold for a few dollars. Hopefully we'll still see some red versus blue floating around, but I don't know. Some of those earlier seasons especially, they got some spicy things in there. I'm not sure that all of it is suitable for the precious world of current year. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, friends. Let me know if you'd like to see some more stuff like it. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm always running around through the comments. Check out the Patreon. Sign up on the YouTube membership if you haven't yet. I'd appreciate that a lot. And of course, always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. I ain't let that dog fuck up the outro. They ain't even my dog. Go ahead and cut him open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Promise. Where's he?